Hi, I'm Juli Iacuaniello, the Marketing Director at Aquacycl. Welcome to Wastewater Wednesday. Today, I'm going to talk to you about why good enough isn't always good enough. And I think in business, it's oftentimes hard to look at things that are more strategic. And, if things are working, why fix it? If it's not broken, it's good enough. But that mindset doesn't always set us up for success. And especially when we talk about wastewater is an area where good enough isn't always good enough. So I think there are a couple things that I just want to highlight around that maybe will change your perception around how to think about wastewater differently and why it's time to perhaps take a more proactive approach. One is risks. And we've talked a bit about risks before in other Wastewater Wednesdays. So I won't go into the details, but there's a whole host of risks around wastewater. It can be reputational risks, it can be social license to operate, it can be financial risks, regulatory risks. Wastewater is laden with risks. So I think that thinking strategically around how you're managing your wastewater, why you're doing it this way, and what could go wrong and what you could be doing differently is really important. Another point around, how to think about things differently, sort of related to risks, but it's regulatory and compliance. And again, we've talked about this quite a bit. But just because you're in compliance today doesn't mean you'll be in compliance tomorrow. And regulations are shifting. One company I talked to recently, pretty much within the span of a couple of months, they were told that they had to reduce their nitrates by 96%. And it was a huge problem. And again, some of these problems you can't always get in front of. But knowing what's coming, knowing what you're doing today, and planning for the future is really important. Another area that I think wastewater is oftentimes under-considered is in planning for growth. And so if we look at whatever production plans you have, is the city going to be able to accept the increased wastewater volume and concentrations? Or if you're trucking wastewater, is that going to become cost prohibitive as you grow? So really incorporating wastewater into your planning discussions, planning decisions. And then the last point I just wanted to make, so it's number 4, would be around climate and water goals and how wastewater can really help you. And this, I think anything related to climate and water is more strategic in nature. All of the multinationals that we've talked to have very ambitious climate goals, very ambitious water-related goals, and they have to operationalize these. Wastewater is one way to make that a reality and to make that happen. That oftentimes it's not really considered in the discussions, but we think that it should be. And so, if you're at the point where you feel that good enough isn't good enough, please come talk to Aquacycl.